This screencast is going to review Sentence Writing Strategy Lesson 5, focused on subjects and verbs. So you're going to need your green booklet out in front of you. So we always start by asking why we're learning this sentence writing strategy. So first of all, it's going to help us write better sentences. And in doing that, it's going to help others understand what we write. And then, of course, at the end of the year, the state of Ohio is going to be testing on our ability to write. But in a bigger scheme of things, we want to think about the real world as we get into high school and college and getting a job. Your ability to communicate clearly through writing is going to be important no matter what job you do. So we're on page 2 on the inside of your green booklet. We're going to review what is a complete sentence. It starts with a capital letter, has end punctuation, has a subject, has a verb, and it has to make sense. I know that we've really been focused on identifying sentences, but we're going to get more into writing sentences. And so these components are going to be very important as we start writing. The symbols I'm going to use to show that you need a capital letter is underlining it 3 times. You should have a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point, depending on what type of sentence it is. We label the subject with a capital S. We label the type of verb, whether it's an action verb, linking, or helping verb. And if the sentence does not make sense, I'll write DMS. So we're going to start by writing and looking at simple sentences. A simple sentence has only one independent clause. Well, we have to know, well, what is a clause? A clause is a group of words that has at least one subject and at least one verb. That makes an independent clause a group of words with at least one subject and one verb that expresses a complete thought and that can stand all by itself. And I like to think of being an independent person. You can do everything on your own. You make sense on your own. The subject is who or what the sentence is about. It can be a person, a place, a thing, a quality, or an idea. The verb shows what the subject is doing or the state of being of the subject. So we have action verbs that show what they're doing. State of beings are linking verbs, and then helping verbs can be in front of action and linking verbs to help them along. An action verb shows what the subject is doing. There are body actions like walk or run, and then there are mind or thought actions like think or want. A linking verb is a word that links the subject back to a predicate noun or a predicate adjective. And we have a list of 18 words that we've memorized as linking verbs. We've got the 8 state of being verbs. We've got 5 that go with our 5 senses, how something feels, how it looks, how it smells, how it tastes, and how it sounds. And then we have another 5 that go with the mnemonic of grabs: grow, remain, appear, become, and seem. So to be a linking verb when we find it in a sentence, it has to be one of these verbs, and it has to have a word following it or after it that links back to the subject in front of that verb. We use the mnemonic marks to help us check our sentences when we're writing. And we've been doing this by marking out imposters, asking if there's an action, linking, or helping verb, rooting out the subject, and we haven't focused too much on keying on the beginning, ending, and meaning because we're going to be focusing on that when we start writing. And our imposters are the infinitives and prepositional phrases. Okay, now you're going to look in your book on page 4, and I should have told you we jumped ahead to there when we did the marks mnemonic. So hopefully you found it. If you did not, go back to page 4. You'll see the review of the mark strategy, and right below that, prepositional phrase review. It tells where or when an action happens, and they start with a preposition, end with a noun or a pronoun, and our number 1 rule about prepositional phrases is they never have a verb in them, which leads us to an infinitive. Infinitives can be kind of tricky because they start with words that look like prepositions. To followed by a noun is a prepositional phrase. To followed by a verb is an infinitive. So some examples are to paint, to like, to be, to eat. Those are all verbs. A verb phrase, and now you're flipping your book back to page 3, is a main verb that works with one or more helping verbs. Jill is falling. Jack will fall after her. Is falling is a verb phrase. It has a main verb, falling, but the sentence wouldn't make sense to say Jill falling. Jill is falling. So is a helping verb that helps that main verb along. It does look like a linking verb, but in this case it doesn't have a noun or adjective after it that describes Jill. It's followed by a verb, so it's helping the verb. In this case, and Jill is our subject. In the next case, we see will fall. Fall is the action verb. Will helps it along. It wouldn't make sense to say Jack fall after her. Jack will fall after her. It changes the form of that verb. And the subject is Jack. Helping verbs help the main verb, and there are 23 of them. 8 of them we've already memorized as linking verbs, so we really have to be careful when we find them and look at how they're being used. Again, they've got to come in front of a main verb, and sometimes there can be 3 or 4 helping verbs put together in front of a main verb. So when we look at simple sentences, now we're at the bottom of page 4, and we talked about some different formulas that we can use when writing simple sentences. The first formula is to have one subject and one verb, and that's really what we focused on the most. And then last week we started talking about 2 subjects and 1 verb. Mrs. Culleton and Mrs. Cirillo went to the movies. Now we're going to talk about a new one subject with 2 verbs. So this is the third formula that you're filling in on the box on page 4. 1 subject, 2 verbs, which is SVV. Now go back to page 3 and let's take a look at the PENS strategy. The PENS mnemonic helps us now when we start writing complete sentences. We're going to use it to check that we pick a formula, whether it's 1 subject, 1 verb, 2 subjects, 1 verb, or 1 subject and 2 verbs. We're going to explore words to fit the formula because sometimes our sentence isn't going to come out exactly right the first time. We might need to revise our wording a little bit. We're going to note the words that we used, and then we're going to search and check. And searching and checking brings us back to page 4 where we talk about our marks mnemonic. After we've written our sentence, we go back to marks and we check. We mark out the imposters. We ask if we wrote a verb. We root out the subject by asking who or what did the verb action, and we key in on the beginning, ending, and meaning. Does it have a capital? Does it end with punctuation? And does it make sense? So now you're going to go to page 21, and we're going to practice this new strategy, or this new formula that we talked about with a subject and 2 verbs. So the first 2 sentences, Sally swam and played all afternoon. We're going to mark out our imposters all afternoon. And I know all wasn't one of our prepositions that's on our list, but we can see that it ends with a noun. All of the afternoon is almost what it sounds like. Sally swam and played all afternoon. Now we ask for our verbs, looking for words that we either have memorized or that show an action. And I see swam and played. Both of those are action verbs. We're allowed to have 2 verbs because we've got this conjunction in the middle. Whenever you see and, you know you're going to have 2 of something. So now I'm going to look for my subject. Who swam and played? Sally swam and played, so Sally is the subject. In the next sentence, the dogs had barked all night and slept all day. We're going to mark out our imposters. All night and all day. We're going to look for our verbs, any verbs that I see that I know are action verbs, barked and slept. And I recognize had as a helping verb on our list, so I'm going to underline that. And I'm going to mark barked and slept. Again, we've got it connected with a conjunction and as action verbs and had as a helping verb. Now I'm going to ask myself to root out the subject, who or what barked and slept? The dogs barked and slept. Now, if you were absent and you're watching the screencast, what I would suggest that you did is that you pause it right now and did these next 3 learn by sharing, because the class did these together and had the benefit of helping each other. So I want you to try them and then come back and continue the screencast to see how you did. Michelle came home yesterday and did not work all day today. Mark out my imposter all day. Looking for verbs that show action or that I memorized on my list. And I know that came is a verb, work is a verb, and did I recognize as a helping verb on my list. Do, does, did. We're going to remember that not is never, ever going to be a verb. So came and work are action verbs. Did is a helping verb. And I'm going to ask who or what came and did not work. Michelle. So that's my subject. My formula is subject, verb, verb. We do not count the helping verb as a third verb. It's helping this other verb along. The basketball team rode on a bus and flew on a plane to attend the game. Marking out my imposter, I see on a bus is a prepositional phrase. On a plane is a prepositional phrase. And to plus the verb attend is an infinitive. Now I'm looking for some verbs. I know rode is a verb and flew is a verb, and both of those are actions. So now I root out my subject, who or what rode and flew. The team rode and flew. Number 3, the park is dark and spooky at night, but can be delightful on sunny days. Marking out my imposters, I see at night is a prepositional phrase, and on sunny days is another one. Now I'm looking for verbs that show action or are linking verbs that I memorized or helping verbs. And I remember memorizing is and be and can. So is here is used as a linking verb. It's got some words after it that are going to connect back to my subject, which I'll find here in a second. And then I see 2 verbs together. Can I remember it as a helping verb, and be I memorized as a linking verb. I can look after this verb to see is there another verb, because be sometimes can be a helping verb, but you can't delightful. So in this case, delightful is an adjective. And again, all of these words are describing my subject, the park. Now what you're going to do is do these 5 on your own. When you're done, you're going to turn your book in, and these are the ones I'm going to grade. Make sure you go back and look at the other examples if you're not sure. And you can always flip back and look at your verbs list if you're not sure if it's helping or linking.